My first visit in 2005 was to examine the district heating in a carbon-constrained future. It's clear to Seattle Steam that the energy delivery is changing. So we had to make some changes in our thinking. We were looking for a sustainable business plan within a sustainable future environment. During that trip, we saw sustainable energy options in both Copenhagen and Malmo. We saw the traditional energies, of course, but then we also saw energy from waste, energy from straw, energy from biomass, even heat recovery from the crematoria within the city. And I know it's a great storyline, but it's part of heat recovery. Of course, we chose biomass. We went in 2005, and what delivered, or what we got into Seattle, was a biomass heat production facility. So that's what we got out of 2005. 2008, my goal was to examine how Copenhagen and Malmo had extended their regional heating systems just beyond the downtowns, the maps that you saw in the earlier presentations. How do they get out to 500,000 homes in greater Copenhagen? During that trip, I had the privilege and pleasure of spending 4 hours with Sven Auken in a personal conversation in his offices in Parliament Building. Sven, of course, was the minister who took the policy decisions in the early 80s because of their energy crisis and allowed the development of what we now see in Copenhagen. And we went over the policies and the thoughts that he had developed to some extent, but also implemented and then carried forward for that whole period of what is now actually closer to 50 years than just 30. And of course, he talked about the barriers. It's too expensive. All of the excuses. You can't recover heat and you can't move it 50 kilometers. You can't. It's too big. It's too long. It's too fat. Those are existing in front of us today. They're the same barriers, but they were solved with, I think, some vision and help 50 years ago. 2010, my goal was actually to look at the technology and business details. After 50 years, does it still make sense today? I mean, is it truly doing what it's meant to be doing? Does it save money to the end users? I wanted to understand why in Copenhagen it had taken 50 years growth in the district heating system before they started to replace the old steam system. We have the steam system. It gave birth to what they have, and it's sustained it in some meaningful way for 50 years. And now, after that transition has occurred, they're able to come back and turn it into the high-efficiency district heating system that the rest of the city has maintained. And Malmo, how they power a regional fleet of buses with biomass, with biogas, made locally from the community around them. Stockholm, how do they take the Baltic Ocean and cool and heat the buildings with it? How they do it sustainably. There are many reasons for these studies and tours that are valuable. Mine, of course, energy field, others in community planning, and even the green roofs. I like that part of the tour especially. But in my case, the results are tangible. We're heating downtown Seattle with biomass. It's not as easy as I thought it would be, but we're doing it. The potential of using seawater. The Elliott Bay is an enormous solar engine that we can use to displace both electricity and in a meaningful way fossil heat. The analysis that we undertook from the Aalborg cement plant, where you used to live, Patricia, that heat recovery system heats a third of the city. We've got 2 cement plants. Why can't we do that? And what technologies did they have? That's real. It's actually happening as we speak. And then developing the relationships with the companies that exist. For example, the log store piping you saw pictures of. And my discussions with them on potential research and development of how to use some of their very specialty materials inside buildings as opposed to inside the ground to convert some of our building stock, that electric resistance heated buildings, so to make them compatible with district heating. And these are ongoing. So there's been real tangible results in Seattle through Seattle Steam as part of the iSustain tour. And the power of that, I think, is clear and is important for all of us to see. Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Sally. Oh, you have it up there. Okay.
Oh, you're up.